Hello, 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 and welcome to this edition of A Quick Pint. Now, today I'd like to answer a question, which is why do we lie? Why do some people rather tell big whopping lies, incredible lies, and get found out? Such as this Eleanor Williams girl who was found guilty of making up rape allegations today in court and sentenced to 8.5 years in prison. Why do people tell lies? And what I'm particularly interested in is what you might call the habitual liar, the person that just can't help themselves but tell lies. Because I've known a number of people like this, and one of them has come to my attention recently. So this is known pathological lying. It has many names. It's known as mythomania, as pseudologia, as being fantasist, as compulsively lying. And the idea with this is that people tell lies for basically no reason. For there being no gain or no obvious gain. They just can't help themselves but tell lies. And because they do it compulsively, they get found out. Their lies are inconsistent. But anyway, let's look at these different issues. So there are a number of, putting aside the fact that all people will tell lies sometimes to protect their reputation or to get out of a difficult situation or to not offend somebody or whatever. Putting aside that, what are the key kinds of liars? Well, the first is people who are psychopaths. People who are high in psychopathology will lie in order to attain money, in order to attain sex, in order to attain power, in order to get people to do what they want. Now, obviously, people like that will be very careful about doing it. They will think very carefully about who they're lying to and what they're saying to whom in order to maintain the lie. And therefore, often a great deal of investigative work has to be done by police or whatever in order to find out their web of lies. They're quite careful about it. The second is people that are high in narcissism, narcissistic personality. These people crave a sense of importance and crave being admired. So those kinds of people will lie, rather they will often not so much lie as exaggerate, as embellish, as magnify their achievements and their importance in order to tell themselves that they are highly important and of high status and reassure themselves that they are admirable, and in order to attain the admiration of other people. Then you have people that are high in borderline personality disorder. This is people that have a fundamental fear of abandonment, with the result that they see the world as a chaotic and scary and frightening place in which they could be abandoned, and they don't really develop a sort of clear sense of self. And so those people will lie in order to avoid, as they see it, being abandoned, which they will be paranoid about the possibility of. But they will tell lies for that reason. So these are the kinds of people that might fear that their husband has abandoned them, so they make up a rape allegation or something like that. And then there are those that, and this may be true, I don't know, of this Eleanor Williams girl, that are high in histrionic personality disorder. Histrionic personality is when you have a desperate need for attention, and you will act in a very theatrical, flamboyant way in order to get the maximum level of attention. But there is still a degree to which such people are devious. Such people will, as Eleanor Williams was, she did all kinds of things to make sure she wasn't caught in her lies, such as faking text messages or faking internet messages and things like that. So she was devious in whatever it was that motivated her to lie. She did not want to be found out. What is perhaps more interesting is when we come to pathological lying or pseudologia or mythomania. These people just lie. And they lie without thinking about it. They lie because they enjoy lying. They lie because they like lying. They lie because it makes them feel good to lie. They lie because, I don't know, it just makes life interesting to lie. And these people will not think through their lying. They will not plan it through. They will tell different lies to different people. And of course, those people will then compare notes and they will be revealed as liars. So these are the kind of people that just can't help themselves but tell lies. And it has been argued that when you are dealing with this issue of pathological lying, of mythomania, then what really marks it out is that these people will lie about things that are not important, and they will lie about things they don't need to lie about, and they will basically just lie for the sake of it. There will be no reason to do so. The analysis of them has found that, as I say, there will be first of all, there will be a matrix of truth to their lies. So you might say to them, did you go to you went to university and you did a PhD, did you? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did a PhD. Yeah, and was it published as a book? Yeah, it was published as a book. And then you find out that person, it was not published as a book, and they dropped out of the PhD. So there's an element of truth. Secondly, the lies will be enduring, so they won't give up on them. They will keep telling these lies until they are absolutely confronted with them. They will keep telling these different kinds of lies. The third is that the lie will tend to be self-aggrandizing, and so in that sense it crosses over with elements of narcissism. Narcissism is about self-aggrandizement and being looked up to and whatever, but it's also about other things, about controlling people, elements of pompousness. There's other elements to narcissism than just self-aggrandizing, but it's definitely the self-aggrandizing element of narcissism. So the lies will tend to make them look good, but only slightly good, not amazingly good. Whereas a narcissist might really exaggerate his achievements. This person might exaggerate it just a tiny bit, and completely unnecessarily. So they might go for really no difference. They might say, oh yeah, I got my I got a first from Oxford when actually they got a 2-1 from Oxford, but nobody really cares whether they got a first or a 2-1. The point is they went to Oxford. There's these kinds of things, and the point is that these are not delusions as well. These people don't believe these falsehoods. They don't believe them to be true. They know they're not true, and they just can't help but do it. They can't help it, and that's why, unlike the psychopath, unlike the narcissist, unlike the borderline personality disorder who will lie to aggrandize themselves and will be quite careful about doing so in order to maintain the pretense, these people just lie in such a way that about completely irrelevant things. They might say, oh yeah, my middle name is John, and it isn't. What's to be gained from saying your middle name is John if it isn't? Nothing. That kind of lie. And they might see that as slightly aggrandizing in so much as John's a traditional name and they like it. I don't know. But it's things like that, completely unnecessary lies, that, as I say, are not delusions. Now, the research on these, there's very little research on it, but the research on these people has found that about 30% of them have had some kind of chaotic home life. Now, we don't know what's correlation and what's causation here. Could their chaotic home life have somehow caused this? Could the chaotic home life be a reflection of genetics which they share? Who knows? A family member with mental problems was found in about 40% of cases. They had a family member with some sort of mental problem, such as depression or something like that, and they themselves had conditions such as epilepsy, such as ADHD, and such as known head trauma. So when we say that there's no logic to what they're doing, there's a logic to what narcissists are doing. There's a logic to what histrionics are doing, wanting attention or whatever. There's something you can see almost as adaptive about that. This is maladaptive because you're going to be found out, and therefore it makes sense that it's reflective of some sort of problem with the brain, such as epilepsy or ADHD or just head trauma. Which causes you to behave in this peculiar way. Now, some people will take it to an extreme. They will literally adopt a kind of a different identity, but they will know it to be a lie, unlike is the case with a person that has borderline personality, where on some level they will feel it to be real, or a person that has multiple personality disorder, they will feel it to be real. These people know it's not real. They're just doing it for the sake of it. And so you'll get the person that will pretend to be a war hero, for example, the fantasist that will do that in order to get a little bit of aggrandizement, but completely unnecessary. And the thing is, easily found out. Whereas these other people, the narcissists or whatever, they won't do things that can be easily found out. These people will do things that can be just really easily found out. So it's just like there's something wrong with their minds that they can't help themselves but lie. Now, if this is a consequence of brain damage, Then if it was childhood brain damage, we might expect it maybe to get better with age as the brain fixes itself. If it was ADHD, perhaps can that get better with age and or whatever. So this seems to emerge in adolescence, by the way, this tendency. But it's basically completely maladaptive. You can't. There's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's the thing. You expect there to be rhyme. If it's just about brain damage that causes you to do something bizarre, which is pathologically lie in a way that can be easily found out. When I was at school, to give an interesting example. When I was at school, there was this chap who was East Asian background, and he presented himself as being Canadian, and spoke in a Canadian accent, and he'd say all these things about Canada and whatever, and then he would tell obvious lies. He'd say things like that he had a twin brother with whom he had a telepathic relationship, or it was amazing that we at 15 lived with our parents. He lived in a flat above a shop in Oxford Street and commuted in every day, apparently. Even though then I found he lived quite near me, and he'd say, "Oh well, yeah, I'm staying with my parents today, but normally I live in Oxford Street." And he was just an obvious liar, just told lies all the time, and we knew that. But the one thing it didn't occur to us he was lying about was that he was Canadian. And then it turned out when he was expelled from the school for stealing, that he wasn't even Canadian, and that had taken in even the teachers. But there must have been members of staff that knew this wasn't true. There must have been. So it was quite extraordinary. But anyway, I just thought we'd look into that in light of today's evidence. This is the nature of liars. Tally-ho.
Hello, hello, hello! The Jolly Heretic is an online public house which meets on Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. New York, in which we discuss the kind of based, fearless science which is increasingly expunged from our woke, joke universities. If you would like to help the Jolly Heretic public house, and there are many ways you can do so, please, please, please become one of my patrons on Subscribestar. Also, if you want to, you can donate to the channel using Odysee and Entropy, and you can also purchase Jolly Heretic merchandise, such as shirts and mugs. All of the links are in the description. Again, I'd be most violently grateful if you could assist the Jolly Heretic Public House, and I will see you all soon, and goodbye!